Everyone, welcome to another typology interview. We have, how do you say your name? Pierrick?
Exactly, Pierrick. I
Okay,
mean, in French, yeah, it's Pierrick, but you can say it Pierrick, or however you want.
so welcome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. So you've been running OP, well, I guess MBTI OP YouTube channel in French for a long time, I guess.
Yeah, it's been ooh, feminine sensory, uh, maybe 2 years, something like that, I guess. But I've been making video for approximately 3 years, and I've been talking about MBTI for 2 years, probably something like that.
Right. Um, so, I mean, there's not really anyone else, right, in French that's talking about.
Some people talk about it, but classical MBTI, not objective personality and stuff.
Right.
It's just yeah, the basic MBTI. But it's still very interesting.
Yeah. So how did you get into all this?
Well, I first discovered MBTI from a French YouTuber. He passed the test and he was like, "Wow, it's amazing" and stuff. So I
Hmm.
just tried by myself, and I had INTP, and I was like, "This is absolutely me" and stuff.
Yeah.
So then I started to be interested in MBTI, and I made some research about it. And at some point, I got bored because I didn't really understood how it really worked. Like the real, I mean, how can you know if someone has that function or this function? It was just a bunch of stereotypes and people saying, "Oh, this is so that personality," but not explaining really why. So at some point, I was like, "Yeah, it's interesting." I mean, I could see that it was like potentially interesting, but I just didn't really understand it. And then I found objective personality, and when they came back in 2016 or no 17, something like that, 18 maybe. Um, I was like, whoa, now this is really interesting. I understand how it works. It makes sense and stuff. So I just started to follow their work and understand it, and then I decided to share it in French on my YouTube channel.
Yeah. Really good. So what was your YouTube channel about before OP?
It was just about personal growth and things like that. I was just giving my insights and views on certain things because I started to be interested in those kind of things very early when I was still in high school, and and I realized that it was not really well known by everyone. When I discovered it, I was blown away because I discovered so many things about life and mindset and stuff. So I just decided to make a channel on my own.
Cool. All right. So you've got the rare masculine NE, I guess. It's getting less and less rare the more of you that show up, but it's still kind of rare.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you see it? How do you see it as different from, I guess, feminine NE, or
Hmm.
do you know anyone else with feminine NE?
I think my girlfriend is a visual INFP, so she would have masculine any
Yeah.
in the middle, so it's a little bit more balanced. But still, I can kind of see the differences between feminine and masculine, and I was thinking about that these days
Yeah.
because to me, I mean, the real difference is that masculine any would just force possibilities. Just just like Jordan Peterson, when people try to impersonate him, they say no, it's entirely possible that something and with crazy ideas and stuff, and he really shows with it. It's no, this that other possibility is possible, and he will just force no, it can be different.
Right.
Where feminine and you just think about things and they it's a little bit more fuzzy. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just less showy, I guess.
Right. Well, yeah, that's like the definition, I guess, that it's less shovey. But is there like maybe an intrinsic difference, maybe something even deeper? Like you said, it's more solid, maybe it's more defined, it's more clear.
What do you mean? Like in my everyday life,
Yeah.
how I live with masculine any at the top?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's a hard one because it's so. I mean, as it is my very first function, it's very complicated for me to see it because I just do it in I mean, in such an unconscious way. But yeah, I guess it's just that I am seeing things and I'm just thinking, yeah, but it, I mean, it could be different, and I will just um, not understand that people can't see it, for example, or I will just not realize that no, it cannot. Sometimes I just think about things and I start to get freaked out about things that everyone can see that yeah I mean the chances for that random possibility to happen is very very tiny, so there is no reason to even think about it, and I'm like yeah but maybe, and I will just do weird things because I'm like yeah but maybe that will happen or maybe that will happen, and that creates those
So
kind of behaviors.
So, like, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're spending a lot of your time speculating about what could happen, even if it's low chance of happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And like if one of those possibilities is very negative, maybe you'll get a little bit stressed about it.
Yeah, yeah, actually, yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, but I don't really get very, very stressed about it because even if it's true, I can also see that, yeah, but maybe the opposite possibility is also going to happen. So I'm like, okay, I will just see, and I just then make it on hold and I just wait
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Are, do you identify with the fact that you're always in this perception? You're always looking at this. This is something that you can't let go of.
I guess. To me, I don't do it that much because I can't see myself. But I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, I do it. I mean, I see it when I'm with people, actually, because when I'm alone in my room, I'm just doing my things and I don't realize how different from everyone else what I'm doing is. So yeah, when I'm with people, I mean, it's 28th of December now, so I celebrated Christmas with my family and stuff, and in this kind of gatherings, everyone talks and everyone does his thing, and I realized that yeah, for me, I mean, several times people were like, yeah, but I mean, what you're saying is kind of silly. They can see and they make me understand that okay, if they think that what I'm saying is weird, it's probably because I'm using a little bit too much of any and I don't realize it, but I can track myself
Right.
by, tracking people's behavior.
It feels like just a state of being for you? It's just,
Yeah,
and you're
definitely.
recognizing that your state of being is different than other people's state of beings, that they're not in
I,
that.
I
Yeah.
see it when I'm with people. I mean, I see people on a regular basis, but I love to spend time alone, just doing my things.
Yeah.
And I work at home because of the coronavirus and stuff. Even for my studies, it's all at home, so I see less people than usually. But I guess it's kind of like everyone. So yeah, when I'm not realizing it, I feel like there's nothing wrong. But when I'm with people, I then realize how much I do it, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to
What
put it on hold.
So I'm wondering that like in your eyes it's not crazy because you have it in perspective, and maybe everyone else who's seeing it doesn't have it in the same kind of perspective as you, so it looks crazy to them. Can you give us like an example of one of those times that happened? Yeah.
Uh, I didn't really understood the question. Sorry.
You were talking about when you were with other people that like they think you're a little bit crazy on certain things. Can
Yeah,
you give us an example on something they called you out on?
usually it's with my humor.
Your humor.
Yeah, because when I make jokes and things like that, I just say, okay, an example. I will try to be a little bit more precise and sensory. Uh, but I'm very bad with sensory because I just
Yeah.
forget it. I
Makes sense, yeah. Well, just
um,
invent one. Just use your any. Just make up a sensory for us right now.
yeah, okay, yeah, very
Yeah.
good. Okay, so I will just be with someone, and we will be just chatting, and I mean, he will say something that will make me think about something else, and I will like faint to not faint, but act like understood it in a different way. Oh, okay, I have an example. It was with a friend. She was American, and she said that she was just fucking with me, just to say that she was playing with me. And I said, "Oh, I don't remember that." And she was like, "What?" And I said, "Like, what do you mean you're fucking with me?" And I just pretended that I didn't understand that she wasn't meaning that in that
Right.
way. But oh, maybe you can, take that word and understand it in a different way. And I just made a joke with that. I mean, with that, and
Yeah.
she find it really
A little bit
kind of
trolling.
weird. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Um, what about in terms of gathering concepts? Do you see yourself doing that a lot?
Um, I don't really see myself gathering concepts because it's kind of hard to like to define in the real world. But I guess that's what I'm doing is gathering concepts. Don't know if that makes sense. But what I'm saying is that I can see that sometimes I'm just learning things just to understand, and I'm just curious, and I just want to understand and to learn and to yeah, to just gather information is to me. I wouldn't say concept because I don't realize how abstract I am, but I can definitely see how curious and how yeah, willing to learn new things, even if it's completely useless. I will just be curious and want to, oh,
Yeah.
something new. I should, uh,
And
see what
when you learn
happens.
something new, is it how it fits into the grand scheme of things? Is it just, oh, this is something new, let's just be
Oh, yeah, no, no,
separate
no.
from everything? No?
Yeah, yeah, no. It's most of the time because I still have some areas where I'm more focused, some topics that I'm more interested in, and sometimes I learn something about animals, and I will just think, oh wow, that concept is kind of related to that thing about kitchen that I saw days before, and I will just take it not for what it is, but for what it means, connected to something that is completely unrelated, and then expand it to more general things and connect it to broader and broader ideas.
Do you lose
And
track of where you started, or that's not the point?
I don't lose track of where it started because I can. I guess it's because it's still masculine any, so I can track the
Ah,
the connections I make. I can see, oh yeah, that concept is connected to that concept and to that concept, and it goes all over the place. But I can still, track where it begins. I couldn't
yeah.
say what exactly, what word, what sensory thing, but I can track, yeah, that concept and that concept.
Can you give us an example of how two concepts are connected? Like what makes them connected? Why are they connected?
Hmm. Okay, I will try to remember when I did that for. I mean, when I caught myself doing it for the last time. Maybe. Okay, I was for some reason on Google Map trying to find the most isolated place on Earth, for example, and not really the most isolated, but I was just going through the ocean where there is nothing and trying to find some random island, and I found an island and it was actually the most isolated island in the world. I can't remember the name, of course, but it was the most isolated island in the world. And I started to get interested, and I just watched YouTube videos about it just to learn about it. And I realized that they have some animals that exist just in that island, endemic species that just exist on that island. And I was like, oh, the fact that these animals, it was rockhopper penguins. The fact that these penguins just exist there means that at some point, penguins went from here to someone else because it's the same species. Yeah, and then they were separated from the outside world. And I just thought, well, actually, when you have, I don't know, someone from a family who will live abroad or something, you will then have people from the same family but completely unrelated because the family will go there in that country and there in that country. And we're like, oh, it's the same with animals and with humans. And then I started to think, well, actually, it's also the same with populations because some groups went away from the original tribe, and I was just thinking things like that, and I was just thinking about the world and universe and things like that, just because of a penguin on a island that I randomly found on Google Maps.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, from what I've seen of any, it's like it gets exponentially more complicated where you just can't just keep up with it anymore and you're just like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm done. Yeah.
yeah. Just at some point, I'm like, okay, I'm wasting too much time thinking about useless thing and consuming random information, so I just stop. And that's why many ENPs or EPs are so chaotic because we just start things, but then we just, well, I mean, we don't care about it anymore, so we just do something else and we jump from things to things and we never finish uh, anything.
Cool. Yeah. I don't know if you know Sadet. She says that maybe she's heard your audios. Were you sharing your audios with people?
Yeah,
Okay.
on the Facebook group.
Right. Okay. So Shan says people of your type have a hard time learning typing other people. Why NTPs have a hard time? What do you think?
Hmm. I think it's because of TI, probably, because when you have TI, you are just doing your things your way, and you don't realize that it is not obvious for everyone. Because I mean, you just check yourself, and yeah, it makes sense. So why would I do it differently? So I think NTPs have a hard time understanding people because they can't, like, it doesn't compute in their head. Okay, why are they doing this? And they don't even have FE to emotionally connect or anything. And I think that's why, because FI people have T demon, but still T, so they can understand the reasons of people. T
Right.
have T, so it's even easier. And FEs, they can connect emotionally with people, so they won't understand really their reason, but they have still some kind of connection with the outside world. TI, it's logical and it's DI at the same time, so I think that's why it's very separated from the
Yeah,
other people.
I just realized I think I got you wrong. Any is your second function, so we kind of skipped over TI.
Oh yeah, it's my
Yeah,
second. No, any is my first function.
your ENTP.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So
double
I have it
feminine.
wrong. I have it wrong in the description. So you're
Okay,
NET. So I was right, and then I wrote it wrong. Okay.
yeah. Double feminine. NETI consume, play,
Right.
sleep, missing blast.
Okay. Um, I it probably won't update now. I'll have to update it after the video. Sorry, everybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Um, okay. So then TI is your second function.
Yeah,
So do you see it? So okay, but so you still have the balance with TIFE. So you should
yeah.
still be able to judge people and see people on the spectrum. Like the NF spectrum is there, it's yours,
Mm.
and you're
Yeah.
double
Well,
activated on the play.
I guess in my everyday life, it occurs, but when we are typing people, I guess for me, I mean, everyone will mess it up somewhere, because of their function. But I guess for me, it's
Yeah.
because of my lack of SI, maybe. So I
Uh,
kind of lose track of what I'm really doing. I don't really follow the process, and I just go too quickly. So I just mess up on the observations. Um,
so what is NEFE then? It's seeing how emotions are connected on spectrum, the interconnect,
hmm.
how people are interconnected. How do you see that?
That's something that I don't really see, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
can see my FE, but I can't see my NEFE play. I can see that sometimes, yeah, I can definitely feel that, okay, the mood is weird. People are, not really happy in a party or something, And I can see that, someone made a joke that was inappropriate, and now that girl is sad because of this. And I can see, the spectrum of emotions, but I can't really see how how my any and my FE work together. I never really explored that thing.
Mm. Okay, so I have your type wrong then too. So you're not. So you. let's just go get your type again. I don't know how I got
Okay.
it wrong here. Yeah, I wrote it in. So you're NETI, double
Exactly.
feminine, right?
Exactly.
And then you're consume what? Consume sleep or consume play?
Consume play
And then
and then
blast
sleep.
last, and then
Yeah.
sleep. Okay.
Sleep and blast off.
Yeah, I had you as sleep last. Okay.
Okay.
Um. So, do you see that you're the balance between your TI and FE sometimes? Like, do you see that's
Yeah.
yeah? How
Yeah.
how do you manage to balance like that?
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's natural. I don't really plan on it. I just realized that okay, I have my ideas and stuff, but I just realized that if I do that, I mean, people will just react that way, and it will just, I mean, end up in more control or something, you know, because I will. I mean, in my brain, it's like okay, I have to not be too extreme with people because if I use too much TI, then they will, um, put me away or something. So, and if they do that, I won't be free enough to do what I want, and I won't be
Oh
able to
yeah,
do all the new things I want to. So, because of control, I'm like, okay, I will do what you want, and I will not do what I want sometimes. I will try to balance that so I can still have the possibility to, when I want, to do the things I want to do.
right. Okay, yeah. So it's like
You
you're
get
you're
me?
just gonna placate and you're just gonna pretend like
Yeah,
do what you need to do so that you can go off and have your time, sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Um. So what does it mean going into TI too much? Like, how do you realize that you're doing that, and what does that even mean?
Oh, I'd say just being stubborn. You know, no, I'm right. What you say doesn't make sense, and I don't care if everyone would like you to do something. If it's stupid, I won't do it because I checked myself and it doesn't make sense. I think that would be too much TI, you know. And I remember. I mean, I don't remember, but I can um, feel kind of that I was doing this sometimes because I could feel that. I mean, at some point, you feel that you are like pushing and you don't want to move. You know, you can feel that you don't want to move, and the person in front of you don't want to move. And when I think about that, I realize now that it was because I was just using too much CI, and then it just
Yeah.
causes problems.
Yeah, it's like both your saviors are masculine too, so it's
Yeah, I have double activated saviors, double masculine saviors.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of NENTI.
Uh-huh. Do you feel like you're very aggressive in your consume then because of that?
Hmm. I don't feel like that I'm aggressive with my consume, but I can see that I'm aggressive with my TI sometimes. I can see that sometimes I just say things and I hurt people without even realizing it because I'm going
Yeah.
too fast and I'm just you know saying things and connecting ideas and I don't realize that no, like what you just said was a little bit offensive or someone was hurt and you I mean, I can see that I have masculine TI, I can see that I have masculine any, but I don't see masculine consume. Like when I'm learning, I don't feel like I'm learning
Yeah.
in an aggressive way, you know what I mean?
So me personally as well, I never saw the masculine consume, but people were telling me that I'm in the interviews, you can see my masculine consume, that I'm just
Oh, really?
really, yeah,
What
aggressive
is
with
that type?
people. TISE,
Hmm.
MF, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so you have, yeah, okay. So your masculine SC and masculine TI.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I got the same sort of thing. We got a question. Do you practice creative visualization?
Generating vision, oh, uh, I never paid attention to that.
Yeah.
But I think I can see, I mean, I can understand what he's saying. And yes, I do it not consciously, but yeah, sometimes I just,
Right.
yeah, like, sometimes I just close my, like, for example, when I lost something, sometimes instead of just, looking for it, I just close my eyes and try to remember what I saw, and I put myself in my me from the past, and I just redo the whole thing, and I try to see, okay, I can, I mean, I remember my hand went there and I did that, and I put myself in my own eyes
Wow.
from the past. You know what I'm saying?
Is that like sleep, or is that still any like you're putting yourself in the past and seeing what you could have done differently? Or
Well, I guess it's a combination of
yeah.
sleep somewhere plus feminine sensory, so I can see things. But yeah, sometimes I just do that and I just try to see, oh, I put it there, and I go at the place, and sometimes I'm wrong, but sometimes
Yeah.
it actually works.
This is something that's interesting to me is would you edit your past if would you give yourself a different narrative if it would be better for you in the future? Would you change your past in your mind?
Uh, I mean, how? Like, what do you mean?
I mean, let's say I don't know. Let's say you lost at something, and then your self-esteem was really low, and then you just re-edit your past to make that you won, and now your self-esteem is high.
I don't
Not that
think I could
extreme,
do that.
obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think I don't really know, because sometimes even when I lost something or when I was wrong, I would just I mean, especially when I was a kid, I would like reinterpret and be like, okay, I was wrong, but I was wrong because uh, I didn't know. So I mean, I was right, but with the information I had at the time, I couldn't be right, So I will just be
Yeah.
like, okay, I was wrong, but I was still right because I didn't have the information or something like that. But I
Right.
guess it's just because,
You were right based on the information you had.
yeah, or something
Yeah.
like that, So I will
Yeah.
just make my past still be like still validating my TI, because it
Yeah, I
have
do that
to,
too.
yeah,
I do
it
that too.
has to
It's like,
be the answer,
yeah, yeah. It's you can't blame. It's putting blame on something else, right? It's like, oh no, I
Yeah,
was wrong. I got to blame something. It's because I didn't have the information.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Um, Sadet wants to know if how you deal with people on the NISE axis. Do you have a hard time understanding, or is it easier for you?
It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of complicated. I mean, not complicated, but it definitely leads to some misinterpretations and because sometimes when I see, especially INJs, I can't understand how they are not thinking about all the other possibilities before they lock up on one. So
Right.
sometimes I just assume that they saw everything I saw, that they did what I do, and then they found that solution. And I'm like, oh, okay, so if you think like that, it's because you obviously did your NE, and then you locked up
Uh,
on something. And actually, they did not. And I'm like, well, how can you say that if you didn't like see so every possible possibilities? You know?
right. How did you narrow down if you didn't look at
Yeah,
everything first?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that's tough. So I was just talking to Laura, who was SI first yesterday, and she was saying the same thing. It's she's not looking enough at the possibilities before she's narrowing down as well. But it's the SI way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you with the SE and her with the SI.
yeah. So
Okay.
her SI is not looking enough at the NE before it narrows down. Not looking at all the possibilities.
Okay.
I guess. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, sure.
yeah.
Do you see that? I mean, do you have the same kind of misinterpretation with people on the SI and the axis sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, like it's got to be hard for you to ever get started on anything because of that spectrum that you're trying to see first. It's
Yeah,
it, yeah, it's like something you have to go through. It's like a tunnel you have to go through before you can actually start doing something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like paralyzing. It's like a deer in headlight sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of hard sometimes, but but it's funny because when it's hard, I mean, you still don't realize that. Well, maybe you should just use another function. You will know my function. I mean,
Yeah.
may say yours causes problems, but I will still use them because that's how my brain
But it's not
is.
like you can do the NISE. You just have to do the SI, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And when SI and NE work together, it creates kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, some kind of NI essay.
Well, I mean, like, so let's say you've already been in the same situation. Okay. You've been in the same situation before. Will you have to go and explore the possibilities all over again? Or can you just rely on the past SI that you did the last time and just
Mm,
adjust based on that?
Mm, I don't really know. It depends because with things I'm really comfortable with, I can just use SI and then my any will just shut and I'll be like, no, I know how it works. I know what's going to happen, and I can go in that kind of routine of I'm just thinking. I'm not thinking about everything. I'm just focused on doing my things. But when I
Yeah.
go to something that is similar but at the same time kind of different, like when I meet new people, I have to. I mean, I've been in several universities in the last few years, so I'm used to meet completely different people. But it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same concept, but actually, it's not really the same because it's in a different place with different people. So I'm still like, okay, I know how it works approximately, but maybe this and maybe that, and I still go into that any possibilities, and I don't really know and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's hard to get a system that works in every case, I guess, like an SI
yeah.
system that works in every single case. Yeah, SI is really specific in that way.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, do you have any routines and things that you like? I've talked to other NE users who like the routines because it frees them up. It gives them freedom. Have
Mm.
you fallen in love with some kind of routine in your life?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, currently I went back in France to celebrate New Year's Eve and Christmas, but I live in Iceland for that year. So in Iceland, I am alone at home. I'm not with my family and stuff. So yeah, I have a very, I mean, every day is kind of the same, and I love it because I have that routine of I wake up, I go brush my teeth, I eat and stuff, and everything like my room is very, very, very well organized. I have everything in place. I know where I have to go. If I need a pen, I know exactly where it is. If I need scissors, I know exactly where they are. And I have, when there is nothing that can, when there is no one else, when I can control everything, I have the freedom to narrow down and I have the freedom to control. Don't know if that makes sense. But you know what I'm saying? I have because when
Yeah.
I'm with people, I can use SI, but I know it won't work because it's too hard. So if I have to use my demons, it has to be very easy. There is nothing that moves if it's not me who made it move. So I
Yeah,
can
that's a good thing.
have
Yeah,
that
that's a good point.
routines
Because like
and use SI.
we're all afraid to fail in our demons,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we're not afraid to fail in our saviors.
Mm,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what kind of paralyzes us from ever going into our demons. It's that
Yeah.
it's we don't want to fail,
Because
so
if you do
why
it
try?
and you
Yeah.
fail, you'll be like, I mean, why did I did it in the first
Why did
place?
I do it? I shouldn't have done it. Yeah,
Yeah, I knew it would cause this problem, and you just have a very fixed mindset
that's
with
right. Yeah,
your singers.
yeah, that's really good. Mr. Dog wants to know how you experience light. Are you sensitive to light or anything? I don't know where this is coming from, but
Actually, not at all.
yeah,
Especially when I was a kid. On New Year's Eve, my dad was a musician, so he used to bring us at his concerts, and actually I would just sleep like not directly in the middle of the crowd, but very close from all the sound and all the lights effect and stuff. And I would just sleep there, and I would not be I mean be oh, I don't know the word, but
you'll fall asleep in the middle of the light and it's not disturbing you.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
annoying. Yeah,
And but actually, actual flashing lights and things that move and stuff, and that's no problem for me,
it's
not
not a
at all.
problem.
No,
Yeah,
not the
all right.
sound, not the light, nothing. When I sleep, I sleep.
Oh, when you sleep, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you find it difficult grounding the possibilities in reality? How do you determine a likely possibility from an unlikely possibility?
I just don't, and that's the problem. I would say because
They're all options. Keep them all on the
yeah,
table. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, at some point, I mean, I still have I don't know, common sense, so I know that I should not fear aliens coming right now, and so
right.
I can still not go too far, not like clinically ill or something. But yeah, sometimes I mean, I don't realize it right away, but then when I take a step back, I realize, well, actually, you shouldn't consider that possibility because it has like 0.5% chances to happen. So it takes me a long time to realize that I'm going too far or I'm considering
Yeah.
things that are unlikely, very unlikely to happen.
I mean, I guess like I guess even if you just having considered it and saying, okay, that's very unlikely, but I've considered it, you're not going to be surprised when it happens, if it happens.
If
Like
can you repeat?
because like say there's this really rare possibility that a meteor is going to hit the Earth when you're
Yeah,
doing something or whatever, right? You're
yeah,
like, oh, I wonder if this is going to happen today. And
yeah.
when it does happen, you're not going to be surprised and taken aback by
Oh,
it because
yeah.
you already considered it as a possibility and you already kind of know what you would do in that situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it, I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I would still be surprised because I thought about it, but I didn't thought it like seriously,
Uh-huh.
because I noticed that some NI people sometimes they guess something, and when what they say actually happened, they're not even surprised because they knew it's like so hard. For me, it's yeah, I thought about it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think that it would actually happen. I just thought about like because
Right.
I thought about that, but I also thought about 10 other possibilities, So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, whoa, I thought about it, but at the same time, I'm still surprised because I thought about it, but not in a very serious
And
way.
and I guess a good big difference between NE and NI is like NI would be it would shock them and it would make them afraid if some of these possibilities started happening.
Yeah,
And for NE, it excites you. It's like,
yeah,
oh, did it happen?
yeah. That was like, whoa, but like, whoa, I was just saying that for fun, or just like
Yeah.
that, and it actually happened. So it's funny. It's
And then it
something new,
makes you think of
something.
more things. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
if this happened, then that other things can happen. And
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of when something very surprising occurs, I'm allowed kind of to go even crazier and to think about even more things because if that happens, everything can happen, And I'm like,
right.
whoa, that's nice. Yeah, where and I guess they would actually be freaked out because they would be like, okay, this is not how it was supposed to happen, and now
Right.
I have to prepare, but I don't know because the world is too chaotic and
That's right.
to
Yeah, the
yeah,
chaos. Yep. Yeah.
they will see it at SC like chaos that just comes like that in the real world like now. But for us, it's any because we thought about chaos, but ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. What about we kind of skipped over TI a little bit. I don't know. How do you relate to it as having it as your second function? Is it like a tool for you? Is it something you can just use when you want to, or does it feel like your identity? Or
mm. Well, TI is kind of uh, the function I can see the best with me because it's I have a step back. I can see it from an outside perspective, where Annie is way too real to me to really see it in a good way. But yeah, with TI, I can see that sometimes I just lock on some ideas and no, this is the best way for that thing to work and on my way of doing things. And I just start to be a little bit weird about it because I see that when people just say, well, you should consider to do it that way, I'm like, no, because if it doesn't come from me, it has to be a bad idea. It's very
oh,
doesn't
okay,
really make sense actually, but and I will be very narrowed down and very close-minded with my TI, where with my NE I'm going everywhere, but with my TI, it becomes very private and yeah,
yeah.
closed.
Do you use it sometimes maybe to help you sort out some of those any possibilities? Just get rid of some
Yeah,
of them. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes, yeah, and then I wonder how any TE people do it because they are you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I can see that I'm going everywhere with my NE, but I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make sense, and my TI can decide what should I do or what should I not do
Yeah.
because that function is introverted, and then it calms down the overexcitement of intuition.
I mean, I guess TE would be more responsible to what works, and so they can get rid of possibilities that don't work pretty easily.
Yeah,
That's never
yeah,
going to work, so you better not even think
yeah,
about it. Yeah.
true.
Um, what about in terms of building systems and frameworks and understandings over time with your TI, worldviews?
Mm. Oh, it's a very slow process because it has to stack, and it's very yeah, very slow, but at the same time it's very solid because like when I changed my mind, I mean I can see that years ago I didn't thought exactly the same way I think now, but I can see that yeah, it took me time to realize and to be like, oh, I should use a little bit. I mean, I just use any and TI to balance each other sometimes. I know that what I'm doing, I mean, I'm doing things my way and stuff, but then I think about possibilities and like, okay, well, yeah, that would make sense. So, I just use any to put some new possibilities and TI to sort it out, and slowly I can implement things in my way of thinking, and then I
Hmm.
slowly change my mind and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes time.
So Douglas here asked a couple questions. Do you have cool dreams, and do you remember your dreams? Do you have lucid dreams? I don't know.
No, my dreams are kind of boring actually.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I would
never dream.
assume. I would assume like you're. It's more interesting being awake and.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, because when I dream, I can see that, oh, it's because I saw that today and I see that today.
Uh-huh.
And actually, I never, like fly or do, I don't know, weird things. My dreams are very in the real world and it's just my everyday life. But, I go from going to school and then we are in a bakery shop, It just doesn't make sense, but it's still things that happen, I mean, that can happen in real life and that I actually saw in real life. So actually, my dreams are not that interesting, and I don't have lucid dreams.
Oh, that's yeah. That is interesting. That it's like it's helping you with sleep process a bit. Even it sounds like.
Yeah,
So,
probably,
like yeah,
probably.
the SITI boring sleep process thing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess that would
Yeah.
be it.
Ah, wow. I couldn't imagine that asleep. It must be so meticulous, like combing over all of those details in your sleep.
Yeah,
I do it in my
like
consume, so I don't need to do it in my sleep. Yeah.
yeah, sure. Oh yeah, because you don't have sleep.
Well, I don't have I don't have sensory in my sleep, so I'm doing the
Oh, okay,
sensory and the TI together when I'm consuming, and I don't that's why I don't have to do it when I'm sleeping.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Um, okay, so you've been given Blast Last. Does that make sense to you? Is that right?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
And like I mean, I was very surprised that they saw that because I was afraid that they typed me with Blast Third because I could see that I can speak in camera and stuff because I'm used
Yeah.
to it because I used to do that for years now. So I can kind of blast, I can kind of talk, but in real life, like it's so easy for me to just like either I make jokes and I just want to have fun with people, either I say nothing, and it's very rare for me to actually, in a group of people, actually talk and participate with everyone. They made a Q&A once on a movie where everyone talks and everyone listens. They said that the director was probably an info dominant because he
Yeah.
has consumed and blast. And I could see how I don't do that, like how much I never do that. And in a
Yeah.
conversation, like if we are three people, the two people just talk, and I just sometimes say a funny thing, just to light the mood, and that's it. I don't really participate and argue and debate with people.
What about trying to keep people on track or pushing your point of view on people or things like this?
Oh, well, when I do that, I mean, I actually kind of don't do it because, I just don't have that. So when people don't agree with me, I'm like, okay, I don't want to control you. If you don't agree, well, okay, just don't agree, and I will do my things. And I go back in my
Yeah.
consume and my TI, and I want to be left alone and do my own thing. So when I want people to do something, well, the best example So that was once I was with some friends on vacation, and I was participating to a editing video, and we had to do a very short intro for a guy, and I wanted a shot with my friends, and I just had it. It was just maybe 3 seconds. I just had to film them, to film them. I mean, with me, and say a word. It was like you or something like that, and then I turn around and it's over, and that was it. But I remember my heart was beating so fast because I had to I actually direct people and tell them what to do exactly, and it was so weird that I'm very funny and goofy and etc. But then I become so shy and stressed out because I had to tell people, okay, so this is the plan. This is what we are going to do. You have to do this. When I do that, you say the word, and then I move around, and I had to explain them the plan and to tell them what to do, and it was so weird, and I was so stressed out. And I remember because I filmed it, so I still have the footage. I remember that I was actually trying to explain to them, but every time someone said something, I was like, yeah, like just to have I mean, just to go back and play and just to talk with people and just exchange.
Yeah.
If someone has an idea, please say it, so I'm not the only one telling people what to do. So we just exchange and do something
Oh yeah,
together,
yeah.
not me telling you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, trying to get
And
other people to give input so that you
yeah,
have a group.
exactly. So it's
Yeah,
not just yeah, yeah,
not just
exactly.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Um,
yeah, that made sense when they told me that I was blast last because I could see it and I was afraid that it doesn't show up because I can talk and I can explain kind of
yeah,
things.
yeah. Last is not talking. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but it is pushing a point. It is pushing a view or a point of view, sort of.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's taking every opportunity to give a lesson or things like this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I never do. I just exchange, I just laugh, I just chat and discuss. I never push a point of
Right.
view, explain, even explaining ideas. It's a little bit too much narrowing and explaining, talking in chapters and stuff. So I just don't do that. I just,
Yeah.
chat with
I see
people and
myself
that's it.
also because it's double feminine as well for you, right? So I've got the same thing, double
Yeah,
feminine blast. And I see myself leaning on the consume a lot too when I'm blasting. It's like, oh well, this guy said this, so maybe it's a good idea to do it like that, or like
yeah,
this book said this, so do you
yeah,
think maybe you want to try it?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it's like leaning on the consume. It's bringing the consume to support the blast a little bit, so that it's
yeah,
not just
exactly. So
telling
you're
them.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, not just blasting and saying things, not because I consume that, so I'm allowed to now blast on
Yeah, but
people.
it's not. Yeah, but the point was, it's not even. I'm not. It's not saying I consume, therefore I have the right to blast. It's hey, let me give you the consume so that
Oh, okay.
can also
Yeah.
do what the consume should be telling you to do,
Yeah.
and I don't have to
Okay.
tell you to do. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Um, do you see sleep as like a hobby animal? Do you identify with that?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love to peacock sleep because actually, when I do it, I'm so aware that I'm doing it that I can see that. I mean, if I'm that much aware that I'm doing something, it's probably because I don't do it that much. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I can see like when I'm like my computer is perfectly clean. Everything is at its place, just like in my room, in my apartment in Iceland. Everything is just so clean because it's in my world. It's my way of doing things, and I know where every SI sensory things are, and I can see myself doing it. Then I love it. But I can see that okay when I'm cleaning my room, when I'm organizing my files, I do that and I enjoy it because I never, I mean, I almost don't do that anywhere else, So I can see myself doing it in a demon way, but it's kind of agreeable because it's a demon, but not two demons. I don't get anxiety, just like when I tried to blast on my friends to explain to them the plan of
Yeah.
the movie I was trying to make.
So you have no problem going there and being there. Like, do you have to
Yeah.
do other things first? Do you feel like you need some kind of permission to go there, but you don't feel awkward and
Well, the thing is, that when I mean, sleep is a double. I mean, is the double introverted animal. So
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I have the authorization of my TI, which is there almost all the time. So it's easy for me to give myself permission to do something. But when
Right.
it comes to organize, I can see that actually I do that after, when it comes, I mean, when it becomes a little bit messy, okay, I can see, okay, I made it messy, so I can organize it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it's too clean, I don't feel like I have the right to do anything else that just messing with it a little bit.
So do you feel like your sleep process is really that it's coming up with systems that work, some kind of
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. For example, I have my video game collection. I put them in alphabetical order, and so I know, okay, when I need this game, I just take it there, and I can also see the energy demand because it saves me time. I do a lot of editing on a daily basis, so I also have systems for my editing, and I know that, okay, when I need this effect, this is where it is, and I put them in presets uh, that allow me to just do things in a more efficient way. So it saves me energy, and
Yeah. So how do you know when it's time to actually go and do the sleep? It's just things get too messy, or like it seems like they're going to get out of control, and then you have to go and organize it.
mm, well, I couldn't really tell when
Yeah.
I feel allowed to do it. I just do it sometimes, just as a hobby. Yeah, just as a hobby, I just do it sometimes. So
Okay.
I don't really know when I can or not do it, but I just do it sometimes, and I realize that, oh, I'm organizing my things, and I realize it, But
Right.
I don't know how I'm like, okay, now I can do it.
Okay. So this is I'm not really sure what the wet paper towel syndrome is, but um, this is something that I was wondering as well. Like NE might not have a problem going into new ideas and new concepts, but
Mhm.
trying new things, maybe that's something that's hard for the NE, like new experiences and things like this. I don't know. Do you identify with that?
I don't know either what is the what wet paper towel syndrome. Uh, but I can see that sometimes, yeah, I can go. I'm very open minded and stuff, but yeah, sometimes with my way of doing things. I mean, it comes back to my sleep. When I have a way to do certain things, or if I am
Oh
used
yeah.
to eat in a certain place, or to order a certain menu or something like that, just some routines and some concrete things that I do in the real world, some objects, or I'm used to drink in that glass, for example. I can see that sometimes I don't want new objects. I don't want new concrete things around me. I want to use the same old pen I use. I want to use the same
Right.
old things I have all the time. And yeah, I
Yeah.
can get
Because that it would
some.
make you getting new things like that would make you have to develop some kind of new SI system or whatever, and the SI system you have is good enough, or maybe it took you so much work to actually do that that it's just like, no, no, I'm not going to try a new way to do it. I've already invested all my time.
Yeah, I think is because it took me too much time to have some kind of certainty, some kind of regularity somewhere, So no, I did that. I don't want to change it now because it's my demon. It took me a lot of time, so I can't deal with, oh, I did that for nothing. I had to make it worth it by doing it too much on some precise things.
Yeah. Yeah, really good. Is there anything you want to talk about like that maybe we glossed over about your type a little bit?
What?
Did we miss anything about your type that maybe you want to share with people? Um, that
Oh,
people should know, struggles, growth.
uh, yeah, maybe being a double feminine is kind of weird sometimes, especially when you have masculine saviors, because because I can see how much I'm trying to get around things, how much I'm trying to get around people, how much I'm trying to get around control, how much I'm trying to not create conflict because I know perfectly how I think. I know exactly like my my masculine any, I can see how now the order or your way of doing things can be different, and I can see myself trying so much to not show that on people sometimes. So yeah, being a double feminine with double masculine saviors is kind of interesting for if
Yeah,
someone wants to
yeah.
get into it.
And is there something about your YouTube channel maybe we can talk about really quick that before we're done, like where you're going with it, what the purpose of it is just bringing
Oh,
OP to a French audience?
yeah, I don't call it OP because I'm alone, so it's not objective. But I'm just using
Yeah,
their tools and stuff to provide a better understanding of personalities. And I also talk about mindset and things like that because I actually started with that. And objective personality and stuff is very interesting. But at the end of the day, you don't need that specific tool to grow and stuff. So
mhm.
I talk about it, but I explain how you can use that. I mean, and how it actually just is a tool to reach that goal of growing yourself and being more mature or wise or anything.
Cool.
But it's all in French, so if you don't speak French, it don't really matters. So
Yeah,
yeah,
really cool. Well, a pleasure having you on, man. Thank you for coming
thank
out.
you,
Yeah.
thank you. It was
Bye,
a pleasure
everyone.
for me to be here.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.